Hello, everyone. My name is Rick. I'm one of the lead technicians here at the Laney College FabLab. I'm in the FabLab right now, so I'm going to, in a minute here, walk around and just kind of give you a tour with my laptop. I recommend you go to our website, though, to watch our tour video, which will be, I think, much more informative and much more polished than what I'm about to give you. But either way, it'll be nice to kind of walk around and show you the shop. So just for those who don't know, we are the campus makerspace. A makerspace is a place where people can come and learn how to use tools of all kinds. Our specialization is teaching people how to use digital fabrication tools. And those are tools that you program with a computer to make things for you. So think a 3D printer, laser cutters, CNC routers. CNC stands for computer numerically controlled. We have all kinds of machines that operate using computers. And this is different than like traditional ways of making things where you take tape measures and rulers and you measure things and you draw things out on paper, and then you cut things out with saws and use all kinds of other equipment to make things. The reason why this is interesting and awesome is because instead of spending years mastering how to use hand tools and power tools, we can spend weeks to learn how to make things using computers and machines to do it for us. There's a lot of awesome things that you can do in here that relate directly to engineering as well. I think that's probably why we were paired together here today. The engineering graphics class that Mallory just mentioned, that's a class that traditionally uses the FabLab towards the end of the semester to 3D print or laser cut the things that they make or that they design in the engineering graphics class. So a really awesome project that I can't recall if she mentioned was the hydraulic arm project that happens in engineering 22, right, Mallory? Isn't that 22? Where students design these really cool hydraulic claws that can pick things up using just hydraulic power from syringes. And all those parts are designed in software, and then we make them here and then put them together. And it's a really awesome project that really teaches you a lot of, it's a really well-rounded project because it teaches you a lot of engineering concepts, and then it also teaches you how to use the equipment in the shop here, which is a pretty liberating thing, because once you can learn the engineering concepts behind how to make something and you learn how to design it in a computer using our 3D modeling programs that we use here, the world is really like your oyster in terms of things that you can make and customize, which is, you know, for me and for most of the students in here, and pretty much everyone, this is like a pretty amazing power to have. I will say that the FabLab is not just limited to engineering students. It's open to all students. So if you're taking any type of class, it can be a engineering class, or it could be a wood tech, which is the woodworking department class, or it can even be an English class or even a PE class. You can take, or you can come in here and use the space. And so normally, you know, we're open, and you can just walk in, and eventually we're going to be back into, we'll be doing that again, probably more like in the mid-fall is what I'm hoping for. We'll see, I can't make promises, but that is the direction we're going. So you're on campus, just drop by, take a workshop on a piece of equipment you want to use, and then you have access to it. And everything is completely free. So you really just need to have closed-toed shoes and a good attitude, and you can use any of this equipment in here completely for free, which is a pretty amazing gift from the CTE department, because traditionally maker spaces and Fab Labs have a membership fee, and we're trying to make sure that everyone has access to this space regardless of how much money they make or what classes they take, because hands-on learning using this equipment and the processes we have in here is the best way to learn things, in my opinion, and also just the most fun. We have beyond the engineering classes, there are a bunch of other classes that use the space, but the main one I want to tell you about is digital fabrication, which is in the carpentry department. It's housed in the carpentry department. It's carpentry 224A, which is the first part of the class, which takes place every fall, and carpentry 224B, which happens in the spring. And it's a two-part class. I highly recommend taking both. You don't need to take A to take B. You don't need to take the first one to take the second one, but they build off each other. And if you take both semesters, you'll learn every tool in here in a structured way, if that's the best way to learn for you. Otherwise, coming in here and just working on your own and getting help from myself and the other staff members here is a perfectly awesome way to learn things. That's how I did it before I started working here, was just kind of coming in with projects that I had in mind and just learning at my own pace, which was extremely rewarding. And it did take me a little while, so I recommend the class, but is not necessary. Okay, so I want to give you a quick tour of the shop. I'm going to unplug a bunch of stuff, so I might cut out here. Let's start by just sort of showing you the space from up here. I'll speak a little louder. Let me know if you can't hear me. There is a bunch of hammering going outside because the carpentry department is working on a project. But this is a part of the space. There's another room that I'll show you in a minute. Plenty of workbenches and workspace to work on projects. And once you make a thing on a laser cutter or the CNC machine, you need to assemble it. So we have workbenches for that. Here are our two laser cutters. The one on the blue one on your left, I guess, is a 100-watt laser cutter, which means it can cut through fairly thick material, and it's pretty big, 32 inches by 18 inches. And all that really means is that you can make bigger parts with it. This is our most popular tool because it's so easy to learn. I could teach you how to use it in about 20 minutes. And then it does take a little longer to master and fully understand, but you can really jump on that thing and start making things right away. It cuts basically any kind of material you can think of that's natural, so wood or like leather or paper or all kinds of things, cardboard. We've even cut pumpkins on it for Halloween one year, so you can even cut like food and stuff. As long as you're willing to clean it, you can kind of do whatever you want. It also cuts plastics of a bunch of different varieties, and so you can make some really cool things with it. Let's go to our CNC router. This is my personal favorite and most used machine, although arguably a little bit more complicated than the laser cutter, but you can do a lot more with it. This machine can cut sheets of plywood into basically any shape that you can think of. All of those tables I just showed you here, these were all designed by a student and then made on this machine. It took them about, I don't know, maybe a week or two to kind of design and then produce this furniture, which they now sell for $1,000 for a whole set. The material's about $350, so they make some good money off these things. And it took them only a few weeks of fairly substantial amount of work, but only a few weeks to make. And then each table, I think, takes about an hour and a half to cut out. And they don't require any screws or glue, so they just all snap together. So it's a pretty awesome thing. There's a lot of other projects that we use this machine for that are similar in that way. And you can make really good money either as an entrepreneur and starting your own, furniture business maybe, or cutting stuff for signs, or really anything. Or you can work at countless manufacturing shops around the Bay Area that pay starting $25 an hour to just use this machine. If you can maintain it, which we can teach you how to do, and you can master these things, you can make way more than that. And it's a really fun machine to use once you get the hang of it. The best project that I can think of that I think is the most innovative is if you look above the monitor there, that wooden triangle, that's part of a house that the digital fabrication class designed that was cut entirely on this machine. Traditionally, you pieces of lumber and cut them together to make a house. This required basically just this machine, and I can't remember how many sheets of plywood, a fair amount, but still, all you do basically is you snap the parts together and a few screws, and we had an engineer test it from UC Berkeley, and It's surprisingly strong. So there's all kinds of really awesome, innovative things you can do with these machines to learn how to operate them. Over here, it's just kind of like our tool rack. Very small selection of these total tools that we have. But if you are not interested or don't have the time that day to learn how to or want to use some of the equipment, the digital fabrication equipment, totally acceptable just to come in here and use hand tools. There's a lot to learn with hand tools, and there's no way to fully avoid them. You usually have to clean up a part after you cut it out, or sand it, or assemble it in some way. So we have all that for you. This here is also one of my favorite machines. This is our water jet. It's called an abrasive water jet cutter because it uses water and sand, brown stuff, to cut through literally anything up to an inch thick. So you can cut plastic, no problem, wood, no problem. You can also cut 1 inch thick plate steel, or even titanium or some of the harder metals, really with no issue at all. We use this for making like different parts for different components, make like gears with it and stuff like that. But it's also like delicate and fine enough to make jewelry. So we've had students come in here and make jewelry out of thin brass and copper and other materials. And even can cut glass super finely. It's a really cool machine. Again, probably teach it to you in about 30 minutes how to use it. Pretty straightforward, really fun to use. And it's one of the few ways that we can cut really thick metal in here right now. So if you have metal parts that you want to make for the engineering class, you can do it with this machine. Now I will take you into what I call our cleaner room, because it's not technically a clean room, but it is cleaner because this is where all of our sensitive equipment is. So, for example, we have our 3D printers here. Each one of those, there's 3 of them. Each one of them does something slightly different. They're really nice printers. They will print pretty much anything you want with a high success rate, which I don't know how many people here have 3D printed anything, but oftentimes prints fail, and that happens in here too, but these are really nice ones, and we can teach you how to use them also in less than an hour. They're really awesome machines. Really great for prototyping. I mean, that's kind of a big part of the digital fabrication world, is prototyping. And prototyping means basically you have an idea that maybe you want to mass produce, or maybe you only want to produce one of them, but you don't have your idea or your manufacturing process fully fleshed out. So you do what's called prototyping, where you iterate, where you create your first sample project, and then you examine it, you see if it works, do the parts fit together, are they strong enough, and then does the design make sense, and then if it doesn't, you change it and you remake it, and you do that over and over again until you have a finished product or project. And the 3D printers are excellent for that. Traditionally, if you wanted to get a plastic part, you have to pay someone to make a injection mold for you, and that can literally cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like Legos, for example, are all injection molded. Almost every plastic part you own is injection molded, and those, which means basically you heat up plastic and inject it into a mold, and then it cools down, and then you have your plastic part. Super common and ubiquitous, but to make those molds, like I said, it's super expensive. Lego molds are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars because of how precise they need to be and how much money they make companies with molds like that. So with 3D printing, you don't need to spend that much money on a mold. You get a part in a day, which would take weeks for a mold maker to make, and then you can iterate off that. And then if you want to injection mold something for mass production, now you have a prototype that works after you iterate on these, and then you can mass produce them. There's a ton of industries that use this. Learning 3D printing is definitely a lucrative thing. There are tons of companies around here that use these all the time, and learning to maintain them is super valuable as well. The most interesting thing that's happening right now with 3D printing, there's 2 of them really. One is there are aerospace companies are 3D printing rocket engines to help the manufacturing process, to speed up the manufacturing process, and also design rocket engines that can't be made in any other way. They have to be 3D printed, and they are extremely efficient and good at what they do. So SpaceX, which is a private rocket company, is using 3D printed rockets, engines that will get humans to Mars, hopefully in our lifetimes. Also, there is a company in Oakland called Mighty Builders, and they make 3D printed houses. And one of our technicians who used to work here for a long time now operates these gigantic rooms, or I mean, they're massive 3D printers over by the Oakland Coliseum that are printing houses, and they're actually working on big projects, 3D printing houses for communities around the country. And that is going to only grow. We'll see a lot of 3D printing houses in the future, more and more so. And so learning how the concepts of 3D printing work, which are not that much different, their printers are not that much different than the ones in here. So you learn the concepts here, and then you take them out into the world where you're gonna be doing a lot of really exciting things. We also have a needle embroidery machine. This machine takes drawings and images and embroiders them on clothing. We can also embroider stuff on hats. We use this machine for all kinds of purposes. The culinary department uses it a lot to embroider logos and names on their uniforms. This machine is kind of expensive, a couple $1,000s, but embroidery is a super lucrative business, and you can do this in your garage or in your living room. It's a great machine. It's fun to use. We have an ultraviolet printer. This machine is pretty cool because it prints full color professional images on literally anything. If you've ever wondered how, like you get like a pen with like your doctor's name on it, how did they do that? Well, they did it with this machine. It uses basically, without getting too deep into the weeds, it just uses a resin with color in it, and it cures it with ultraviolet light. So it dries instantly and permanently, and that's why it's called a UV printer. And our vinyl cutter, which cuts adhesive back vinyl, so you can make decals. Another really lucrative entrepreneurial skill to have. But yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. Again, if you want more information or a better, more thorough tour, I recommend laney.edu/FabLab. And yeah, it's there in the chat. And I'll also put in my email if you have any questions. We're open 9 to 5 most days. Right now it's been Monday, Friday. So you can drop by if you want and check it out. The campus is open for that kind of thing. So yeah, I'll turn it back over to Kim.